it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. I am a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I have got a really pretty project for you today. It's not an original idea, it's all over Pinterest, but I think it's gorgeous. It uses 2 stamp sets and a set of dies and I'm trying to find them. Oh, they're right in front of me, that's why I can't find them. This version uses these lovely iridescent boxwood wreath embellishments, which are in the autumn-winter catalogue. There is also the plain, how could I call them plain? The original green version, just the boxwood wreaths, are in the annual catalogue. And it's that I'm going to use today, because I have one of those here. Excuse me, trying to swallow something the wrong way. Excuse me. I've also used the Stamparatus for this. You don't have to, it's just much easier to do this bit if you have the Stamparatus. So let me show you how to make it. It's a 4x4 card, so I have a piece of, this time, Very Vanilla, and this is the thick Very Vanilla cut at 8 inches by 4, scored down the middle to make our 4-inch card base, which we then need to burnish. And the sun is just coming out. Will I be able to get it done before the sun hits the work surface? Let's see. Okay, clear my throat. So I'm using a piece of the glimmer paper that is in the Joyous Noel suite in the Autumn Winter catalogue. It comes in this lovely green, which I've forgotten the name of it. Let me see if I can find the packet, and hopefully that will tell me. Or not. Okay, in which case we will go for the catalogue. So it's definitely Merry Merlot and Copper, and I cannot for the life of me remember the green. So Joyous Noel, page 26. Or is it 28? Anyway, 28. So it's in Tranquil Tide, Copper and Merry Merlot. And it is gorgeous. And it's this new, thinner glimmer paper, so it's much easier to die cut. So absolutely perfect. And these are the colours. So aren't they just gorgeous? So yeah. So I'm using Tranquil Tide this time. And I'm going to use Merry Merlot for the stamping in the background. But I'm going to start by die cutting, and I'm using the, now what do we call it, because I can't remember, we call it the Layering Alphabet Edgelets dies. Now these are meant to be used so that they come out in a kind of diagonal, but you can use them as individual letters, and that's what I'm going to do today. So I have my magnetic plate. I really must get a new plate. And these two happen to fit very nicely in the middle of my Tranquil Tide glimmer paper. You don't want them overlapping, but you can have them just like that, and they will fit very nicely in the middle, so we're not wasting any of our glimmer paper. I know that some of you get a little concerned when I use a whole sheet of something behind a stamped image. Now do be careful where you put these, because I lost my J just before I started filming. So that was a bit of a panic, and it was stuck to the bottom of my trimmer. So not great. Right, so having die cut them, you just want to release them from the background piece that you've just cut. Oh, all the measurements will be over on my blog post, but this is in Imperial. I haven't done the metric yet, but I will. 2 7/8 by 2 1/8 of an inch. Now, here are our 2 pieces. And as I say, all the dimensions will be over on my blog. It's linked immediately below, so you don't even have to remember what date or anything. So what I then do is follow the line. So if you put your snips against the edge of the Y and just cut, and then you can just do the same again. Let's just get rid of that for the moment. So to get this corner right, you just line your snips up against the edge and snip. And if you want to just get that slightly rounded edge that the dies make, you can just snip the corner off. And then same again for the J, just line your snips up against the edge of the inside of the J and cut. And there we have our J. Whoops, there we have our J. So that's our die cutting done. And this is going to be used for our backing piece, so that's fine. So let's pop those to one side. I've got a piece of very vanilla, just ordinary very vanilla cardstock, and I have mounted up the Starburst bokeh from the Bokeh Dots, and grab my Merry Mallow ink pad and just tap that gently on the back of our stamp, or front of our stamp I should say, and you want to be gentle. You do not want to over ink your Bokeh Dot stamps. That is where people are having problems with them. So just stamp that down, and there we go. And as I say, I know a lot of people are having problems with the Bokeh Dots, and the problem that they're having is that they're over-inking. These are some of the distinct stamps, and if you over-ink them, they will not work. If you're having a problem with over-inking, either use the sponge brayer to apply the ink, or a dauber. Then you should have no problems at all. But yeah, just don't over-ink. Okay, so this then needs to be cut down to 2 3/4 by 2 inches, so you can find the bit that you like best, and just, I tend to start by going down one of the long edges, and then I can just cut it down, because now I know that's straight, I can then just cut it down from there. So this is where we start measuring. So what did I say, 2 inches. And you do need to be, you know, I haven't cut off a huge amount on the long side. That's all I've cut out on the long side. The short side, you're going to cut away a bit more. So you're going 2 3/4. So you can choose which end you like best. I actually prefer this end, I think. So I'm going to trim that, and then 2 3/4. 2 3/4, measure twice, cut once, 2 3/4. There we go. Okay, so detailed trio corner punch. Trick with this, it does 3 things. Do not just concentrate on the one, just go straight down, otherwise the mechanism will jam. So just, you know, use the whole punch, not just part of it. And do the same with your glimmer paper. And just get rid of those bits. Okay, so adhere one to t'other. And it's so pretty! Right, okay, so I'm going to add adhesive to the glimmer paper so that I know where it is. And this is always a good use of your liquid adhesive, because it catches the top of the glimmer. You could use tear and tape. I don't recommend snail for that. That's probably not going to be a great adhesive for it, she says, meaning it's not. Right, I'm going to pop that under there for the moment, because we want those to adhere nicely. Get rid of those bits, and then bring in my Stamparatus, because I want to position this absolutely perfectly. Now, I have already positioned my stamp, and this is from the Sincerely Santa set, and I'm going for the Joy to Your World, but I'm only going to use the To Your World, and I happen to have it set perfectly for a 4x4, and all you do is, we've got the inches on here, so decide where you want it. Now, these are slightly short. This is one of the new grid papers made specially for the Stamparatus, so do bear in mind that this is slightly short of an inch here, but it's a good guide of where you're going to be. So just here's our 4-inch mark, but actually we're probably going to want to come out just a little bit further, and I want it just in that bottom corner, so I don't actually mind that this is a bit short. So I've lined it up perfectly. Pop your card in and put one of your magnets on, and then bring in the stamp set. It's just the right size. It's perfect. Then grab yourself some washi tape, because obviously we do not want the joy. Now, I did try this with Stampin' Right markers and it was okay, but it wasn't great. So I'm going to use an ink pad, and all I'm going to do is cover up the joy, and I am deliberately sticking it to the back of the Stamparatus. Now, the tricky one is this bit here, because you want the to your, but you don't want the bottom of your Y. So you need to come in at a kind of angle and just cover up that bit. And the joy of washi tape is that you can bring it round so you can shape it. I'll just put another little piece just there, just in case. So that is all now covered up. Pop that bit down in there. So we have covered up the joy. That sounds sad, actually, doesn't it? Don't really mean to cover up the joy, can you? Yes, you can see. So I'm now going to just ink up my stamp. Now, obviously I've inked up with the washi tape. So the key to this is to remember to then remove your washi tape. And here comes the sun onto my work surface, which is not actually what I wanted, but there we go. Just take that last piece off as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the sun, but I could do without it at this precise moment. Right, so that's all beautifully inked up, and then this is beautifully in place, and all you need to do is stamp, and you have it in the perfect place. And obviously if you're doing mass production, I wouldn't necessarily say do one where you need to do the washi tape cover up for mass production, but it does mean that you've got it in the right place. So there's our To Your World. So that's beautiful. Then we'll pop this there. And again, I'm going to use my liquid adhesive. Don't need quite so much for this, because I'm not trying to stick into glimmer. So I'll move my polka dots out of the way, because otherwise I will end up with polka dot all over my arm. And you want that as near to the To Your as you can get it. Right, then the joy. Okay, so to adhere the wreath, you want mini glue dots. And what I've done is just find where there's a sort of flattish bit and just stick. Now, I have been quite generous with the amount of glue dots I've used, because you don't want your O to fall off, otherwise it's just JY, and you know, if you're in the UK you will remember that that was Jimmy Young, but we don't want JY To Your World, we want Joy To Your World. So lots of mini glue dots, and then pop that in the middle and give it a good press. And then this is the perfect moment for the edge of your dimensionals. Brain, come along. So that should do nicely for the J, because all you need is to, you know, have them stuck. You don't need them massively stuck. longer piece. You could use mini glue dots, mini dimensionals. They would work perfectly well as well. But I do think it is the perfect thing for your edge pieces. And then just snuggle that in there so that it's, oops, down a bit. Come along, go into the place I want you to go. There we are. Now it is tight, but it's fine. And then the J. Now the J is a longer letter because you've got the dot at the top. So try and get it reasonably well lined up with the Y. That's better. Right, so there's our joy. Not quite sure why I've got Merry Merlot coming through. I haven't got it on my hands anyway. Oh, there we go. Right, okay, so the finishing touch is some rhinestones. Now I've still got some of our old design of rhinestones which come on a strip. They are exactly the same size as the new individual rhinestones, but you know, I'm going to use them up. So all I have done is add rhinestones to a few strategic places, and then say, because these are the old design, I'm just snipping them off as I need them. But you can, obviously with the individual ones, just add them individually. And all I'm doing is kind of finding a starburst and popping them in the middle of that. So we've got one down here. And there we go, our Joy to Your World, which I think is a really, really cute little project and great for using the little wreaths. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you need any of the supplies and you're in the UK, there's a link to my online store below, and there's a list of all the supplies over on my blog post, which, as I've already said, is also linked below. And it goes straight to the blog post for this project. So there's no, that's why I've got Merry Merlot everywhere. Just found it. It's because it's on my finger. So yes, sorry, suddenly realised why. Brain in gear. So yes, associated blog post immediately, well not immediately below, but in the description bar below. If you've got any comments, please do, you know, any questions, comments, please do add them in the description bar or over on my blog. If you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would be delighted if you would. If you're not already a customer, I would be thrilled. I'm honoured to have customers. It is the customers that keep me in business. Without customers, I won't be here. So if you do need any of the products, I would be thrilled if you would choose me as your demonstrator. You can subscribe to my newsletter and my blog posts over on my blog. If you've got, as I say, any questions or comments, please let me know. And if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!